Hey, this is Matt from the OverMangaCast, and I'd just like you all to settle on in for a nice New Year's tradition as we count down our top 3 manga each of us have read. That's right, that's 3 picks from 4 people, so presumably 12 top manga. Enjoy.
Hello everyone, and welcome back to the OverMangaCast. My name is Sam, and this week, we didn't read anything. It's New Year's! Happy New Year, everybody!
Yay, the year is over.
If you're doing us proud and you're of a legal age, you're smashed right now while listening to this.
Exactly. We need to be incomprehensible.
That is the most palatable way of experiencing our nonsensical shenanigans.
So, just like reruns of It's a Wonderful Life, we're going to play a drinking game. Every time a bell rings, do a shot.
No.
Sam.
Editing
Sam in the future. Stop playing so many bells, please.
All of the bells.
Editing Sam, how did you get the rights to Carol of the Bells? If you're listening on YouTube, you heard none of that.
But yes, as we do every year with the year coming to a close, we take a look back at what we read in the past. I've said year too many times, the word doesn't sound normal anymore.
2023.
In 2023. And we are going to be doing a top 3 of for each member of the show. The criteria is it's either something new that we read this year, or if it's a revisit, how did your opinion on it substantially change from the previous time? And that's really it. We're going to do our top 3 and maybe weave some honorable mentions in there. So, who wants to kick us off?
Okay, I'll go. For my number 3, I really know this is a popular one, so I feel like I'm scraping the bottom of the barrel here. But I've never read a manga that has made me feel this way, of just how amazing this is. And I know this couldn't possibly be one person's favorite because they didn't read it. That's right. I'm thinking about the manga that made fisting cool again. The Summer Hikaru Died.
I loved that manga so much.
I loved it so much, but also just I loved our episode about that manga so much.
Well, actually, Matt, conveniently enough, that's also my number 3.
As it turns out.
Oh boy.
Oh, it's a story that lingers with you. It's not my number 3, but it was gonna be one of my honorable mentions.
It had all the hits. It had spooky rural cosmic horror, my favorite. It had weirdly intense emotions with people being very confused about why they feel things. Always fun. It had some spectacular art, both from a horror perspective and just really, really good compositing of just not even the non-horrific scenes just came off spectacularly.
The challenging characters too is something that, like, the protagonist starts with a Y.
Jacob, we're not going to pretend we remember names this far.
Yeah.
Fair enough. But yeah, no, I mean, like, his complicated emotions and the way that he reacts to different things. There's an argument to be made. He's maybe not the best person with the degree to which he sort of falls in with the fake version of the object of his affection. But, like, there's also the pushback against it, and the monster itself is also similar vein.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, just really the fact that I went into that manga expecting Invasion of the Body Snatchers and got, like, I'm blanking on the specific title, but like that genre of horror movie where you start dating someone and they get way too possessive.
Mm-hmm.
Like, I wasn't expecting that.
It's like stalker horror.
Yeah. Oh, and if you've got some time over the holiday season, or you're listening to this in your car in July, go ahead, listen to The Summer Hikaru Died. It's one of my favorite episodes we recorded because I made some revelations about the plot when we were talking about it, and it's got one of my favorite recurring bits. So
and also just So much fisting.
So much fisting.
That's really the important part. That's the main takeaway.
So that's the number 3 for Matt and I. Jay, how about you?
So, and a bit of a different, but still some of the same. I would have to say that my number 3, because it was just so out there, and it is also a perpetual meme. March comes in like a lion,
Hell yeah.
because for seriously, there is no heterosexual explanation for any of that.
Now, Jay,
We were grasping at straws. What could this mean?
Jay, that was your 3rd favorite?
Yes.
I don't recall you saying you liked it.
Hey, it was a favorite for a different reason.
Well, actually, it's funny. The reason I put that on my honorable mentions list is almost entirely because the reading of it was not one of my favorites, but man, talking about it was so much fun.
Exactly.
Yeah, you know what? I agree with you, Jay. If I had to pick a favorite episode we've recorded,
Yes.
March comes in like a lion for something that we found kind of boring. And like not even to the manga's fault, just it didn't jive with us. It was so fun to talk about.
It was great to dissect and also kind of take the piss out of.
Yeah, because of how dramatic it can be at times, which was very fun. I mean, like, it's very much the case where, I mean, check out the episode, we go into more detail than this, but like, it's a very, very personal story, and it's not an experience that any of the members of the cast have, have had directly, but the sheer quality on display juxtaposed with the hilarious melodrama. It's a fun experience, even if it's not in my opinion, the best of reads of all time.
Mm-hmm.
I think that episode also has one of my favorite after the credit bonus bits I've done.
Okay, so far we've got the summer Hikaru died and March comes in like a lion. This is a very gay opening. Jacob, what's your number 3?
Well, Sam, it's been a very gay year.
It sure has.
Well, I mean, debatably, we're keeping the train rolling. The Apothecary Diaries. There's
Oh, that's another good one.
Mhm.
that has some interesting things in it.
That one's on my honorable mention list. Fun procedural, demented protagonist.
That was the best freaking character, man. I love her so much.
Absolute delight of a main character.
And such an engrossing story. There's something fun about like the degree to which there's these like high court politic dramas going on. And here's Mao Mao just like, well, that sure is a thing anyway.
Have any of you checked out the anime that came out?
No, I
not
meant
yet.
to.
Yes. Oh my gosh. It is. I want to say it holds true to at least the core tenets of the manga.
Cool. Good to hear.
Yeah.
Good.
I only watched the I think first half of the first season, but I did enjoy what I did watch.
Jay, that sounds about right for this entire group of us and our deals with watching anime we say we're going to watch. We're a manga podcast because it's easier to read than watch things sometimes.
It sure is. It sure is. All right, so that's number 3. And now going to number 2 on our list. For me, man, we read a lot of like real banger, just brief manga this year. And the one that just stayed in my head for the longest was Shonen Shoujo.
And we've got another same.
Sam, we have the same list so far. Shonen Shoujo was also my number 2.
Let's talk about the mind warping insanity that was Shonen Shoujo then.
How can we talk about Shonen Shoujo if we don't do the behind the scenes, which is my favorite part about this?
Mhm.
We were recommended this by frequent commenter Hippo, who is constantly giving us ideas for what to read. And they chimed in just immediately, hey, you guys should read this. And then before I could even like the post, immediately followed with, no, don't read this, it's bad.
So, intrigued, we had to go in.
Contrarians that we are.
Ever the contrarian.
And it ended up being great. It was
It's understandable why it was anti-recommended, because it does take a turn.
Mhm. It takes several very intense turns. And one of the things that I found the most enjoyable was, over the course of our discussion, slowly piecing things together and still coming out more confused by the end. The moment I realized that Doku was one of the gossiping nurses, I felt like I could see beyond the rim of the world.
I can't see the end of the horizon.
Hatsune Miku!
I think looking back on it, Shonen Shouju also has that weird kind of meta thing that I really like about, it's not one for one, but like it's got that kind of surrealist take that you see in things like Danganronpa and Penguin Drum, where like the world slowly starts to dissolve around the main characters.
Yep.
And I appreciate that in all kinds of fiction.
As the meta narrative breaks down, so does reality itself.
Oh. Yeah,
Okay,
I really like that episode because I'm not gonna lie, I'm really proud of the read I had of it. I felt clever for the pieces that I put together, I guess is the best way of putting it.
Mm-hmm.
It's sort of funny because even after all the time we spent talking about it, I realized in retrospect, I mentioned having an explanation for why the hospital was as weird as it was, and I never mentioned it in the episode because we were talking about so many other things. That's part of my theory that it's the mindscape of the unseen protagonist. So of course it's an M.C. Escher painting where there's, everything is in the hospital and the geography doesn't make sense. Like, for all the time we spent talking about it, there was still more to talk about.
That episode could have gone on for days. We needed to cut it off somewhere. Jay, what's your number 2?
My number 2 is Tokyo Revengers, I have to say. I went into it having a very vague idea that I think was at first impacted by what I'd seen on social media, the controversial imagery surrounding it. And I thought it was going to be another read that I would absolutely hate, I guess. But it ended up being a wholesomer material than perhaps I was expecting. And I think I even said this in the episode that I kind of wish that it didn't end on the note that it did. It's just it's a good cliffhanger. I want to read more, which I didn't anticipate at first. So I ranked this as my number 2 because it actually changed my entire perception if I had one going into it, I guess.
It went from soft negative to notably positive.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, Tokyo Revengers is another one on my honorable mentions list. I had a long one because I liked a lot of the stuff that we read this year. That was another one where it was really fun to talk about too, in addition to it being a fun read. I want to know where it goes because it has the potential to have this really intricate weaving story, and the time travel mechanics are confusing and simultaneously entertaining. There's this sort of Damocles that time travel is in fiction.
Mm-hmm.
It's a really cool series to engage with, at least as far as we got, and boy, it makes me want to check out more.
We blazed through numbers 3 and 2 pretty quickly. How about we do some honorable mentions before we get down to our number 1, beyond the ones that we've already talked about?
That's cool. I have a long list.
Look, you guys are winners. None of you are awful. Of course, we loved all of our episodes. Yeah.
I was about to say, Jacob, is your list 50 long? Because that's how many episodes we did.
It's not 50 long, I promise.
I should hope not, given the isekai fortnight we did.
Oh, that's right.
Oh no. Spoilers. My number one is totally Am I Actually the Strongest?
Jacob, that
No.
was also my number one. You ruined it.
No.
Oh my god, that
It was
awful.
everybody's number one.
No. No.
Oh yeah. Honorable mention. The hate watch episode we did of Am I Actually the Strongest? That manga was trash.
That I have never seen us all universally hate on something that much. It's impressive. Normally, like at least one of us will find something redeeming. No, just complete across the board fist manga.
It's hilarious because there were so many cases where it's like, boy, this is, here's me over here. Boy, let me read this charitably. This is a redeeming quality. Oh, no, wait, you screwed it up. You literally took the redeeming quality and broke it.
I have no words.
So what are our actual honorable mentions then?
Well, I've got one that was an honest contender for my number one, and that was Freyrin Beyond Journey's End. Because what a heartfelt story.
Yeah,
What a unique story.
Mm-hmm.
That one did not make my list because it technically was disqualified because I've read
You
it
already
before.
knew you loved it?
I'd read it before we did the episode.
Mm-hmm.
So
Yeah.
I read it last year.
Yeah. Otherwise, I know that would have been pretty high on your list, Matt.
It's my sad nonsense I love.
Yeah.
Very reason why I absolutely hated it.
Yeah, that's an honorable mention from me too. It's sort of funny because we don't actually like there isn't a Freyrin's journey, right? But like I love this sort of like continuation after the end sort of thing. I like continuations in story because I like to see where people go after the adventure's over and what the new thing is that comes along. And that's literally the entire point of this story. It's the after the big adventure. Also, Freyrin is a goblin, and I absolutely love her in the same way I love Mao Mao. It's funny that those two were so close to each other when we were reading because we got nothing but little goblin energy for like 2 weeks in a row.
It was perfect. I loved it.
My honorable mention, I guess, it was really hard. Golden Kamui. Because yes, I already knew I loved it going in. It had a bit of everything. It had that historical drama energy. It had wholesome family dynamic, but also those snapbacks that our young protagonist comes back with every time. She's pretty.
The looks she gives.
The face.
Every time we do a Golden Kamui episode, I'm just reminded the insanity that this manga is so good and not talked about as much as it is. Like,
I'm just saying it ticks a lot of my boxes for like serious manga, serious series. I just just as someone also who just really likes the Japanese culture and just global culture in general, so a conflict being
centered around that.
Yeah.
Yeah, very unique cultural conflict is.
Yeah, that's on my honorable mentions as well because the rules disqualified it. It was a revisit that I loved the first time and I loved the second time, and for the same reasons. It's good. It's good eats.
Yep.
It's all the things that you expect.
Mm-hmm.
As long as we're doing honorable mentions based around historical Japanese culture, I'd like to recommend the Swordsmith Village arc of Demon Slayer because I loved it so much.
It had a gun.
Yes.
It had a gun, and I guess a plot was there somewhere.
Yeah.
And us talking about the gun is like our most popular clip on the YouTube channel.
I really like that clip. That was fun to edit.
Yeah, with his gun, yeah.
Oh, the fact that I then saw the anime and it was still bad.
For me, another one it was Crazy Food Shark because it sure fucking was.
Damn right.
Oh,
Yeah.
I should have put that on my
That's
honorable
another one why
mentions.
it was high up there, just because again, it ticks a lot of my boxes. It has jokes, it has common tropes, but it also has like a little bit of a weird angle to it. And folks, it has food. If you know me, I love my food anime.
Mhm.
Mindless food.
Yeah,
Uh,
I would have picked Crazy Food Truck, but again, it's one of the things I read before putting it
Beforehand.
on the podcast.
I'm just
Yeah.
saying, it sounds like you need to do less reading. You
Yeah,
think
I
you're better
guess
than
I-
all of us?
no, Matt.
I-
Matt needs to do more reading because he brings us good shit.
I was about to say, it sounds like I'm the only person who does manga reading outside of this podcast.
Look, a manga arc a week is hard, okay?
It is.
Really, the fact that I don't read Kaiju number 8 is the outlier here.
Speaking of which, that's an honorable mention of mine. I freaking love Kaiju number 8, but I already did, so
Ditto. I love Kaiju number 8. It has everything.
the thing about Kaiju number 8 is that it doesn't surprise you. You know
No.
exactly what you're getting. It
You
doesn't.
know what you love. It's like popcorn, though. You know what it
Mhm.
tastes like, but every time you have it, you're like, I have to keep going, keep going.
Yeah. Another one that's sort of in a similar place is when we read Sweet Home. I didn't come to any new conclusions. I liked the creepy interesting characters of Sweet Home beforehand, and I like it now. It was a really good series, and I really like doing our episode on it. But it's something that I already knew pretty well.
Yeah, and I think the last of my honorable mentions is Hell's Paradise.
Yeah, that was an interesting one, certainly.
Wacky wild monsters, edgy, overpowered protag. Just good fun.
Okay, I guess we're ready to bring us into the countdown for everyone's number 1. Editing Sam, play the music.
Number 1. Let's see if I highly doubt it, but let's see if this gets the hat trick with Matt. For me, my number 1 was Zom 100.
You're right, that does not match with me.
Finally!
Did I like Zom 100?
I don't think you did.
Okay.
I think you were on the fence about it. But, like, I really, really enjoyed it. It was incredibly earnest main character, life-affirming message, and also a raunchy, over-the-top gore fest. My little Gurren Lagann loving heart couldn't not adore it.
Zom 100 is one of those ones where it's like, I know my biases are the thing making me not like this as much as I want to. I don't like zombie fiction. And boy, Zom 100 is a really, really well done zombie story in all the ways I hate.
Yep.
Which is not its fault. It's doing what it's trying to do very well. I just hate it for it. That said, though, I certainly don't hate Zom 100 because it is still really fun. Even if I'm not the biggest fan of the framing device.
Yeah, that is my number 1. Matt, how about you?
I gotta go with an oldie but a goodie. But the reason why it qualifies is because there was a bit of a dip in quality with the part 2 in the middle, because I'm picking Eagle, the Making of an Asian American President.
Hell yeah!
Because my God, did Volume 2 last year turn kind of serious? And it was weird because it wasn't the man who could eat all 50 states. But then
Planet Texas.
They go to Planet Texas, and he goes to the bar where all the ranch hands go, and he talks about gun control in Texas.
and it ends with the super dramatic balcony sex in LA and finding out that you might have been your sister.
So
Deep conversation and contemplation.
I'm gonna be honest. Eagle, the Making of an Asian American President, has me scared for next 4th of July because I don't think Volume 4 can measure up to how good Volume 3 was. I don't think it's possible.
It's gonna be quite the fucking achievement if it pulls that off. All right, Jay, how about you?
Yeah, my number 1, my top episode, top reading had to be this time around Hell's Paradise. Mostly I wanted to say the abstractness drew my
Mm.
attention, kept my attention, and abstractness, I mean conceptually. I don't know. Part of it seemed like the story was just nostalgic, but nostalgic in a way that really kind of scratched that itch to like know more and really invest in the story.
Yeah, it had that kinda, like, old school shonen thing where they go to a
Yeah.
weird jungle that doesn't have any rules, and 2 twins are making out with each other inside a flower.
Yep.
Yeah, yeah. Yep, you got it.
Classics from the olden days.
I
Well,
meant more like an odyssey or trying to restore one's honor or something like that. But yeah.
Mhm.
Um
look, it ended strong. That's an important factor.
yeah.
And
But anyway, this was my favorite, so much so that I am actually caught up in the anime. So you can see where I
Hmm.
dropped off halfway through one. I did prioritize getting caught up. That's how much I liked it.
Yeah, it is a truly fascinating world with a lot of really, really cool characters.
mhm. It's on my honorable mentions list for because damn, what wild and wacky monsters, edgy, powerful pro tag, hard not to love.
I can fix him.
He just wants to get back home to his wife. There's nothing to fix.
I know. When he's so grumpy about it and doesn't want to admit he has feelings, it just wants me to like.
Also, the samurai clan specifically built to cater to my
Cater to your tastes, yes,
Yeah.
yeah, and the head of that clan that also seems specifically built to cater to your taste, yes.
Yeah. Listen, I know what I'm about. I am not immune to propaganda.
Okay, okay, come on. Let's let Jacob say solo leveling, and then we can get this over with.
Believe it or not, that was actually on my honorable mentions. It had enough problems that, yeah, but I did enjoy that. But actually, I'm kind of slightly cheating, but only a little bit. My number one is Eden Zero again.
All right.
I'm only slightly cheating because, wow, I can't believe my popcorn and candy manga that never takes itself seriously stuck to its narrative guns and let a character die for the sake of the story actually meaning something. That blew me away. Eden Zero, for what it is, did not have to do that.
Yeah, I was surprised.
It trusted that its audience was there because they enjoy the totality of it and made the mature, narratively correct decision, even though it took away a cool character from the story. That's a
Mhm.
scary thing for something like Eden Zero to do, and so many other series that pretend to be more serious than Eden Zero don't have a willingness to do that.
Really, it was a very surprising thing. Only slightly less surprising than Jacob establishing the rules of the top 3 and then mercilessly bending them.
Here's why I'm slightly bending the rules. I might have read ahead, and oh my god, the popcorn and candy series keeps making big boy narrative decisions. I am extremely invested in Eden Zero now.
So, what Jake just did is he forecasted his 2024 number one.
Oh my god, I cannot wait for our next episode of this manga. Hey,
For the next
listeners
time,
out there.
for the next week, Jay can't make it.
Yeah, 'cause, fun story about our Eden Zero episodes. They're when Jay can't make a recording.
Scheduling fun. But boy, anyone out there who's read the next arc, you know what I'm talking about. DJ Zombie. Ah!
All right. Well, with that tantalizing tidbit revealed, there you have it, folks. The top 3 of the OverMangaCast 2023. Thank you, everybody, once again, so much for tuning into the show throughout the entirety of last year. We deeply appreciate your continued support and listening to our inane and insane ramblings. And we're looking forward to bringing you more content in the new year.
Yep. And again, thanks from the bottom of our hearts for listening. We really appreciate it. How about if you're listening to this on YouTube, which episodes go out 2-week delays, so have fun in the middle of January with this. Go ahead, write in the comments section what your favorite episode we read this year was, or just the favorite manga you read this year. You can also reach out to us over mangacast@gmail.com or over mangacast on X, Twitter, I don't know, social media. keep throwing pigeons at us. We'll find them eventually.
Indeed. And make sure to tune in next week where we are going to be kicking off 2024 with something huge because it's kaijus. It's kaiju number 8.
Yes. Remember how I said it was on my honorable mentions because I love it so much.
We're going to be reading chapters 55 through 76. So if you're keeping up with the show, go ahead and read that, and we'll see you all next Thursday. Happy New Year!
Happy New Year.
Happy New Year.
You don't deserve anything. Bad New Year to you. You in particular.
Okay, Matt. You can go to bed now before the ball drops.
No, I don't want to go to bed. I don't want to read Kaiju number 8 either.
It's
a
so
good thing
good.
it's a good thing you can't make it next week. Go to bed, Matt.
No. You go to bed. This is my podcast. I'll stay here talking to people.
All right, cut.